Coming up in this edition of Retro Newsround, a Back to the Future time travel wristwatch, the Goonies pirate ship gets a Lego release, and Atari, in an unexpected twist, are releasing a brand new Intellivision console. The Mattel Intellivision home console was launched back in 1979, and alongside the Atari 2600 console, it was pretty much the best way to get into home gaming at a time when the video games industry was just beginning to emerge. Now, in a bold move, Atari, who were once Mattel's fiercest rivals, are releasing the Intellivision Sprint, which is the latest in their line of recreated classic home consoles with a modern twist. The Sprint connects to modern TVs through an HDMI cable, and it's powered by a USB-C connection. It comes with two wireless controllers modelled on the originals, and will be supplied with overlay cards for each of the 45 built-in games included with the system. These overlays used to come supplied with Intellivision games back in the 70s, so you'd know which buttons to press for specific games. Original Intellivision controllers can also be connected to this new machine via an adapter that fits into a USB-A socket. It's worth noting as well that the Sprint will not work with original Intellivision cartridges, but additional games can be added to the system using USB input. The Intellivision Sprint can be pre-ordered now for £119.99 and will be released into the UK on the 23rd of December 2025. Back in the summer of 1985, Back to the Future was taking our cinemas by storm and saw a VHS home release in November of the following year. In a throwback to that magical time in movie history, Casio have released a frankly incredible looking timepiece, loosely based on Marty McFly's Casio CA53 calculator watch that was seen in the film. The catchily titled Casio Outer Time CA500 WEBF1A comes packaged inside a themed VHS case. It's engraved with a flux capacitor design and Back to the Future logo, and it features a real push-button controlled fully functioning calculator with a design inspired by the DeLorean's time travel control panel. So this hits our nostalgia buttons on two fronts, triggering memories of calculator watches and Back to the Future. It's priced at $200 on the Casio website, and until recently it was listed on their UK website as well, but that page has since disappeared, so I'm not entirely sure how easy this will be to get hold of over here in Blighty. It's currently showing as out of stock, but there is a button on the Casio product page to get notified about it in the future, so if you're willing to pay the £150 or so that this price translates to, you can go ahead and register your interest there. Another cult classic from 1985 gets a throwback now with LEGO's brand new Goonies interactive pirate ship. This 24.5-inch long, super accurate recreation of One-Eyed Willie's ship from the final act of the Goonies movie is packed with traps, treasures and secrets to discover, including nods to other scenes from the film, including the secret fireplace entrance, the creepy skeleton organ complete with playable keys, plus a handful of other interactive traps and set pieces that look surprisingly impressive for a LEGO kit. The set also comes with 12 minifigures of characters from the film, complete with novelty accessories, and the build is comprised of 2,912 LEGO pieces, so it's not one to complete in a single night, but it does look like it will be well worth the effort once it's finished. If you love the Goonies and LEGO, this one's a must, as long as you have the dough to spare, as it's not cheap, coming in at a whopping £269.99, so you'll either need to be on very good terms with Santa, or just save up your pennies for a while. The kit releases on the 4th of November 2025, and you can find more details on the LEGO website product page. I don't normally like to cover retro gaming handhelds, as there are a lot of them out there which all seem to do the same thing, and they're often super expensive. However, my interest was piqued by this one, mainly because it's a decent and versatile machine at a low price point. The Mangami Air X is an entry-level gaming handheld priced at only $80, which is about 65 quid in British money. It's an Android-based machine with custom game launching software called MSpace, which allows for easy organisation of retro emulator games and standard Android games, including higher-end AAA titles. And the machine also has the grunt to handle higher performance games with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 662 processor and a dedicated Adreno graphics chip. I'll pop a list of the full specifications on the screen briefly now so as not to bore you with the spiel, but safe to say it has all the features you'll need to experience a smooth, self-contained, open-ended gaming experience without the corporate restrictions generally associated with handhelds from big companies like PlayStation, Xbox and Nintendo. The Mangami Air X is available on import right now, so as always the usual postage and potential import taxes need to be considered, so do bear that in mind. But if you decide to go ahead, they can be ordered easily from the Mangami website using a range of secure payment methods including PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay and standard credit cards. Back in the 4th edition of Retro Newsround, we covered the initial announcement of the A1200 Commodore Amiga recreation from the company Retro Games Limited, but full details were yet to be confirmed. Well, now we have finalised information announced about this new machine, and it will be releasing next year on June the 16th, 2026. This full-sized replica of the original Amiga 1200 computer with a fully functioning keyboard will come with a mouse and an Amiga CD32 inspired gamepad, and a total of 25 fully licensed built-in games. More games can be added via USB, and the machine fully supports modern save states too, so you can finally replay those classic games without having to start from the beginning every time. The A1200 will be available to pre-order from November the 10th at a price of £149.99, which seems fairly reasonable considering it's a fully functional, high-quality replica of one of the most beloved home computers from the late 80s and 1990s era. Up-to-date information and order details as they arrive can be found on the Retro Games Limited website, and you can check out their official announcement video on YouTube, which I've linked to in the description. A brand new pixel art retro combat shoot-'em-up game has caught my attention from developers Xenovia Interactive and published by Retroware. Neon Inferno is a 1990s inspired platform game set in a gritty, urban landscape, which reminds me of old games like Cabal and the Robocop arcade game, both from 1988. You'll be walking, running, jumping and climbing around side-scrolling levels, shooting and slashing with your guns and swords while dodging and deflecting enemy bullets. Some of the gameplay also involves shooting at enemies and targets in the background, which introduces a whole extra level of gameplay, and you'll also get to ride on vehicles in some stages. I've played the demo of the PC version of this game already, and although there are a few different control methods to learn before you can master the gameplay, it's not so complicated as to make it inaccessible. It just takes a little bit of practice, and there's a fully developed tutorial mode you can play through at any time too, which teaches you how every aspect of the gameplay works. Neon Inferno will be available for all major console platforms as well as Steam for PC on the 20th of November 2025, and although no price has been specified yet, you can download that free demo on Steam right now, and I for one have already added this game to my wishlist. In other retro gaming news, only this time on a more personal level, Mark Bailey, who develops games for the ZX Spectrum Next, has released a new game on his itch.io page called The Scholar. This game wouldn't normally have caught my eye, but Mark kindly messaged me to ask if he could use a piece of music that I made back in March 2020 in his game, so I'm featuring the game here, admittedly for mostly selfish reasons. The Scholar is an anagram puzzle game played against the clock. Each round consists of 3 anagrams to solve and is themed on a specific subject, carry-on films being one example. You win the game by completing 8 rounds, and you can change the difficulty level by selecting different colleges. As you can hear in the video right now, the game's title music is a version of the classic TV show Grange Hill's theme tune, produced on the Spectrum sound chips. The game itself can be downloaded from Mark Bailey's itch.io page for free, with the option of donating to his work, and I've also put a link in the description to download a full MP3 version of this ZX Spectrum Grange Hill theme tune, just in case you get the urge to inflict it on yourself through a Bluetooth speaker or something. And finally, to celebrate 40 years since the Nintendo NES console was released back in 1985, joystick and peripheral manufacturers 8BitDo are releasing a range of retro gaming peripherals designed to match the aesthetic feel of the classic NES hardware. The NES40 range includes the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth gamepad, the Retro 68 keyboard, and the RetroCube 2 Bluetooth speaker. The gamepad is a standard modern USB gaming controller which will work on modern machines including PC and Nintendo Switch, but can also be used on original Nintendo NES consoles thanks to the included wireless adapter. It'll be available on the 18th of November, priced at $79.99. The wireless keyboard is compatible with PCs and Android devices. It's housed in a sturdy aluminium case, has fully remappable buttons, and includes a separate turbo button unit which can also be set to perform specific tasks. That will be coming out in January for a wallet-busting price of $499.99, which seems a bit steep as the standard version of this without the NES design is only $100. And the Bluetooth speaker, which comes with a charging dock, contains 10 watts of stereo music power, which is pretty good for a portable unit, and releases on December the 12th for $49.99. All in all, these look pretty sweet, albeit for what seems like some inconsistent prices. However, if the NES design aesthetic floats your boat, you can get all the details about these on the 8BitDo website, which incidentally also contains all the details of the non-NES designed versions too. And that brings us to the end of this 8th edition of Retro Newsround, so until the next one, thank you for liking and subscribing, and of course thank you all for watching Retrospectives.
operation.